Hello and welcome to this IChemE Global Awards webinar. My name is Matt Stalker and I will be your host for today's presentations. The IChemE Global Awards celebrate chemical, process and biochemical engineering excellence and are widely recognised as the world's most prestigious chemical engineering awards. Today we'll be announcing the winner of the IChemE 2020 Oil and Gas Award, sponsored by the Chemical Engineer. This award recognises the best project, process or product to demonstrate chemical engineering excellence in the oil and gas sector. Here are our finalists. Hybrid Gasification, Hydrox Holdings, a joint entry from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, North Carolina State University and Sintef Industry. Another joint entry and winner of the IChemE Malaysia Oil and Gas Award, Petronas Research, Deakin University and the University of Adelaide. Saudi Aramco, Expect Arc, and 3 more entries, all from Saudi Aramco. All of our finalists have been invited to join us today and give a short presentation on their work. Subject to time, we'll be inviting you to ask questions. You can ask your questions using the questions box on the GoToWebinar portal. It's now time to welcome our first finalist. Please welcome from Hybrid Gasification, Abdullah Malik.
Yes, my name is Abdullah Malik and I'm going to present to you my 2020 IChemE Global submission on solar powered 1 ton per day advanced unit for harvesting base oil from used lubes. My presentation, I'm not too sure how long I can take. Can I be advised on that? How long I can take on the presentation?
You have approximately 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. I wasn't too sure. But my presentation consists of 9 slides, almost 8 slides on my previous submission in 2015, which was shortlisted. I will run through quickly just to put some perspective to where we went to the next stage of this 2020 submission, and it's been I'm happy that it's also been shortlisted for the presentation. And then I will go to some global demand for base oil, lube oil, and EU perspective on that, and in the end some conclusions. The used lube oil processing facility, first one was built, 100 ton per day capacity was built in Saudi Arabia to produce Group 1 heavy base oil. It was a vacuum distillation facility. It actually used structure packing for separation of consistent quality product. Actually, the interesting and the novel part of that was that rather than using a conventional wide thin film evaporator to treat the residue, a thin film, non-mechanical thin film device was fitted in the flash column, for which patent has been filed. So I'll take you through the I'll explain a little bit on what is non-mechanical intensified thin film evaporator. It is a device fitted on the bottom of a flash column, and so that helps to recover the remaining part of the base oil when the heated base oil enters into the flash column. And amazingly, we were able to achieve more than 80% of recovery without fitting the mechanical wide thin film evaporator the conventional approach normally do. And we are all familiar, being process engineer working in oil and gas sector, that the problems with mechanical thin film evaporators are always mechanical seal problems. The challenge was when this was proposed by me, that That we have, this was the very inexpensive and practical solution. So client wasn't ready to go for this unproven but very inexpensive practical solution. So we had to do some testing, convincing the designer to of the plant. In order to convince the designer of the plant, we run a cold testing to establish the optimum flow rate for consistent quality of thin film. For that, obviously, we needed to add an additional length on the, increase the length of the flash column, and for so in order, when we did that, we had to elevate the peripheral equipment to accommodate the increased flash column height. So after a few iterative process discussion with the client, we got the go ahead. And we installed that, and in fact, that eliminated, it performed very well, better than the thin film evaporator, no downtime, and shutdowns were seen. The plant, which are typical to the wide thin film evaporator. And we saved on the additional vessel network fitting and all that. We saved on the plant downtime, and therefore we built the plant much cheaper than without this additional system, which includes pipe thin film evaporator. This is a typical 3D view of the 10 tons per day used lube oil facility, which was installed in Saudi Arabia. This is the pictures of the cooling system and the products tank form. The distillation column on the left side of the screen. If I you can see the residue, the spent lube oil converted into heavy base oil and light base oil. Now I come to my current submission, which is 1 ton per day mobile unit for the recovery of base oil from used lube. The idea was that one could run it with solar powered energy, maybe for 6 to 8 hours, unless you want to run it for 24 hours, depending on the economics where it's installed. So it has also got this non-mechanical intensified thin film evaporator fitted in it. The objective, some of the objectives here were to improve the recovery and quality of product by avoiding adulteration from random different types of oils when it's taken to the centralized facility. Improved environmental benefit by avoiding the use of fossil derived energy. And last but not least, objective was the improved environmental benefit by avoiding unnecessary transportation to and from centralized facility. This was there were a few challenges in building a small unit. One of the challenges was from 100 tons per day plant to downscale it to 1 ton per day. And you can imagine the process engineers and a lot of process engineering challenges were there. The recovery we could achieve was 85%, and heating requirement was met by electrical coil immersed in thermal oil. Use of solar power electricity offers enhanced negative carbon footprint. Also, that gave the benefit of sustainability, such as on-site recycling of base oil offers much lower cost than transporting to centralized facility. Helps not in my backyard, NIMBY community demand. Improved income for local community. Process safety wise, there were a few things which we needed to look into. The process plant operates at full vacuum and all columns had pressure relief valves installed. All control valves were positioned ergonomically for safe operation. Thermal oil circuit have been installed with flame arrestor in case fumes released catch fire. Exhaust gases post vacuum pump are released via water seal to an enclosed flare system maintained at 850 centigrade. There are some sketches of here's a 3D sketch of that small facility, 1 ton per day, with P&ID. And here on the left side of this short screen, there is this small, we built this small one is being carried once from the fabrication facility to where it was going to be installed and operated. And you can see in the middle of the picture, in the background, the same demo facility in operation with base oil recovered, pictures of in the tubes, and a control panel is shown on the right side. Summary of this is that 1 ton per day compact unit has been installed. It achieved 85% recovery. Benefits of on-site recycling will come in of base oil, and it obviously resolves in the effect we talked about quickly, and the complete processing unit easily fits in space of 40-feet container. Those of you want to have some feeling of the finished lubricant markets of the order of 40 to 50 million tons per annum globally. Global demand, almost Europe and America and Asia Pacific, they all share equal number of percentage of demand. Pakistan and India, almost 1.7 million tons of market. Global review market by sector, almost 50% in commercial and consumer sector, which can be tapped on if this process is taken forward. There's an EU perspective I've added in my presentation. Out of 6 million tons sold annually, only 2 million tons are collected. Almost 1 million tons are re-refined. Plants using hydrogenation or solvent extraction produces virgin quality oil. And a report by Farhan Beck confirms that recycling uses less energy than virgin produced from crude oil. So, an EU framework directive insists that preference for refining over fuel use. So, we should really stop using as a fuel. So, and use oil to be collected separately. Benefits to the oil sector, oil refining sector for this particular technology. Refining offers small negative good carbon footprint compared with the produced from crude oil route. Keeps lube oil in productive use and delivers improved oil security. Non-mechanical thin film evaporation can be applied in several other areas of refining. Immediate application is for recycling base oil in poorer countries where there is no need for group 2 oils, where the old cars are there and all that. So, but hydrogenation stage can be added to obtain group 2 base oil. Potential use to clean scrubber effluent contaminants, and also in the biodiesel plant for ethanol recovery. There are several more applications for this non-thin film evaporator within the petrochemical sector and refining sector. I can go to guys. There's an API perspective on used oil re-refining. I've got a couple of slides left where Bachelder confirmed that hydrotreated oils can meet API performance, provided that the oil meets API performance criteria. The source of base oil is not an issue, and one could get API certification for this type of plant. My last slide is just implying the 1 ton per day smart base oil recycling system has many economical and environmental benefits. The application of non-mechanical intensified thin film evaporation device is a leap forward in the reduction of processing costs and will replace conventional expensive evaporation technologies currently in use. So this was it for me today. And any questions? I haven't seen any question yet. I don't know. How would I get it? But I could be contacted. Any question later on, and I can send my presentation as well if IChemE requires me to do that.
Okay, thank you very much, Abdullah. So we will pause for questions. And if you do have a question, please type it into the questions box on the GoToWebinar portal. We have one already. So as this is a candidate for a global award, I have a particularly global question. What is the potential for deploying this technology to the world's remote archipelagos, easy for me to say, which have difficulties in disposing of waste oils that so often risk polluting their seas?
Yeah, there is a huge demand. It could be applied on islands, the remote areas where it's very expensive to dispose of and maintain the supply as well. So a small unit like this can help recycle the lube oil and bring keep the environment clean.
Okay, thank you very much, Abdullah. We need to move on. So thank you for your presentation.